Holy Batman hell. $5,346 Bitcoin. Market cap is at 164,000. What's the difference here, guys? What's happening? What's the difference? Last time the market cap hit over 175 billion and Bitcoin did not get this high. Bitcoin has never been this high, all-time high, and the market cap is shaved 10 billion, right? So that should tell you something. Bitcoin dominance almost 55%, 54.2% right now. Not even a percent away from 55. And you know, I saw that from a mile away. Like, I would not be in Bitcoin Cash, except that I haven't sold mine because I still haven't split my keys. I like literally just don't want to fuck with it. That's what it pisses me off. I know it's a small stupid thing, but it would take a lot of time to do it little by little, and I don't want to do it all at once. I'll get to it. I'm not in a rush. Who gives a fuck, right? Dash, it had its run up. Litecoin, I just knew that these would be very, very bad coins to get into at this time. You know, Bitcoin is basically, once it gets the Lightning Network, atomic swaps, all of this crazy shit, Litecoin's out of there. The reason Litecoin's always going to be around is the reason Burger King's around. It's like they make the same fucking shit as McDonald's, right? But yet people just want something different. Doesn't matter. We do the exact same thing, different color. People want something different. Somebody's going to have a personal conflict with Bitcoin and want to use Litecoin. Just what it is. But everyone right now is in super love with Bitcoin. All over the world. So this is beautiful. This is what's happening. Most of the market, 99% of the market, I would say, it's all speculative investors. This is all speculative investors, except for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is no longer really for speculative investors. And you're like, that's crazy. That's all it is. No, it's not. Because it has major use cases in the very poor countries. The poor countries are using it. Maybe they're not using it for transactions, but they're using it for a store of wealth. And people who say that it's not a store of wealth because it's has volatility, that's not a good enough excuse for me. A store of wealth is something that you can A, store, B, not have it hacked, right? It has to be safe. And it has to have some kind of value. And people say, well, Bitcoin doesn't have any value, but it does. It has value because it has all the properties that it needs to be currency. The fact that you can't hack it, the fact that you can't counterfeit it, that's where Bitcoin gets that's why it's worth a lot of money in a digital era where you can sell a fucking World of Warcraft sword for $1,000, right? If we're talking about financial institutions and how we transfer value from one party to the next, having transparency, having it be 100% legit, I think of it as like a table that is not wobbly. Like right now, fiat is just a table with a top and there's no screws and it can just fall over at any moment. And it does all the time. Those where the economic collapses. And it sucks because our dollar, the United States dollar, the world reserve, has the ability to crash markets left and right outside of the United States. So Bitcoin is by far in our little game of being human and needing to transfer value from one end to the next, right? That game. It is the most important player, the most important weapon, the most important piece. And there's one thing that's going to keep Bitcoin up top is the fact that people don't like governments. People don't like governments. They're tired of them. They're tired of the wars. They're tired of the promises that never come through. So if you have something that the government can't stop and they hate it and it gives power to the people, people will buy it just for that. But we're starting to see it blow up in price. That's why in Zimbabwe, it was going over $7,500 a Bitcoin. because their currency is hyperinflating. Their national currency is in hyperinflation, and they're just panicking, and they need a store of value. You're starting to see the use case for Bitcoin start to prop up the price and the market cap. That's what you're starting to see. And you're going to start to see, and then that brings me over to the rest of the cryptos. None of these pretty much have any use case right now. They're not being used by the public. Even things like Coin, all these, they are, but they're not. It's not until blockchain becomes mainstream, until people know how to use Bitcoin, you know, people know how to use cryptocurrencies. Well, these other cryptocurrencies become mainstream. And what's happening right now is it's called being prepared before the boom. Now, there's going to be a blockchain boom. And then before you know it, 5-10 years from now, they're going to be teaching this to your kids in school, how important blockchain is. And this is going to be where all the new jobs are. Everyone's going to be learning how to create these type of applications and use cases. And it's really going to tokenize the world in a way we've never seen it. It's going to give perfect value to the product, because one of the things that hinders products majorly is the currency that is accepted. You can't change the US dollar. You can't give it any perks. You can't give it, you know, it's a big hassle. It's slow. It stunts creativity. It stifles growth. Now, if you can have something where it's like, if you want to use my product, this is the token you're going to use. It has all the perks that we need, whatever we need it to be. If we need it to be fast, if we need it to have, you know, all kinds of different features, if we want to have a proof of stake or proof of work, do we want master nodes? Do we, you know, do we need to have a built-in deflationary mechanism? It can go on and on and on with what you can add to your cryptocurrency. And it's really good to have your own, where you don't have to rely on outside things, right? Because if you're 100% relying on Bitcoin right now, you're in a fucking, you know, you're like, oh God, what am I going to do? Because there's the forks going on. You have to handle all this bullshit. But if you have your own coin for your own product, you don't have to handle all that bullshit, really. You can just focus on what you're doing and improving your coin, improving your product. And I believe that that's the best way to create really, really good growth, is to actually make the products their own currency. There doesn't need to be one currency. It doesn't need to be the US dollar or, you know, this fiat currency. I really believe that each product, I mean, you had it right with the, Peter Piper's Pizza or Chuck E. Cheese, right? They had their tokens. You remember those? Well, it's like, that's what the world's becoming to, but it's going to be on a blockchain. It's going to be much more expensive. And then those tokens, you know, and some of these coins aren't going to be for investments. Like, you're going to have people come out with those type of coins, but they're going to want face value for their coins. It's not going to be an investment, and you're going to start to see a lot of that. And if you want to use their product, you're just going to have to buy their coins. So right now, though, is the wild, wild west. This is the new. These are the people taking chances. That's why you're able to get these coins for this price. That's what people don't understand what's happening right now. You're going to look back at this time, and it's going to be so amazing when you think of the freedom that you actually had, because in the future, it's not going to be this way. When blockchain is proven, all of these are the test dummies, guys. The rich billionaires that don't need to take risks, that own all the companies, they don't care. They can move markets. They're not threatened by Bitcoin. How could they, when they can start a war and be on both sides? Like, you don't understand how deep it really runs. The blockchain right now is being tested. And when it works, you're going to see things like all these huge corporations say, this is our coin, and if you want to buy our shit, you got to buy our coin. And it's going to be that way. And it's going to suck, and then you're going to have Walmart coin and all this shit, but no one's really going to be able to become rich off of it. Because, like I said, it's not going to be an ICO where you get a 30% bonus or some shit. It's not going to be that. It's going to be like peak price, and that's what you're going to pay after all the other insiders get theirs at their cheap price. It's just going to be so rigged. And that's going to happen for sure. And that's why, if you think about the internet boom and how all of these booms happened, there's a wave, right? You know, all these people became billionaires at the very, very beginning, and then you saw Facebook, Snapchat, and now, you know, it's happening, but, you know, the apps aren't selling for as much. They're starting to get watered down, and then boom, a new technology comes, right? Like blockchain. Now, I don't see a new social app that's going to be worth $1 billion unless it's on the blockchain. I don't see some other new type of Snapchat or some shit coming out that's off the blockchain, because it's just not as efficient, and people are moving to a decentralized world. People want decentralization. They don't want centralization. Whether they know it or not, they're going to see just how much freer, because these decentralized coins and apps, when you have, you know, the community can really build the product. it's just going to be better. It's just going to absolutely be better because, once you become too big, you don't really listen to the feedback. It becomes more about what's best for the bottom line than what's actually best for the end user. So just really, really good opportunity. But Bitcoin, like I'm saying, this is just such a perfect time. It said Jamie Dimon did what? He says he's not going to talk about Bitcoin anymore. Like, how much of an ass do you have to feel like to come out and say that and then look at this? He tried so hard. Him and China and all them, they tried so hard. And what are they doing right now? They have got to be so pissed. They can't buy up all the Bitcoin because that would make it go to like 10,000 real quick. They can't do anything. They're trying to scare people to stop using it. They can't lock you up because they haven't figured out an even way to trace it. It's just a shit show right now. And all the governments, I don't think the US government's really, I think they got a lot of other shit going on with North Korea and all this, Russia. Like that's one of the big reasons Bitcoin is getting its way in, because the other governments, they have a lot of shit on their plate, man. You're talking about, like, people think the war with North Korea, it's just some little, they think like America's going to treat them like fucking Iraq or some shit. First of all, no way. Like, in Iraq, we had troops. You don't have troops inside North Korea. That can't happen. We have no intel. We have nothing inside North Korea. So it's very, very dangerous. Plus, that's a game where it's going to bring in Iran, which can bring in Russia, China. This could turn really fucking ugly really quick, and people don't understand that. And people are wondering why the governments aren't shutting down Bitcoin. It's like, dude, there's fucking nukes pointed at. Like, dude, North Korea has missiles pointed at innocent countries. And what would happen would be very, very terrible. But if the reason the U.S. hasn't struck first, I'm going to get a little bit of politics here, but the reason they haven't struck first is because these North Koreans have mountains and they've burrowed their way in. They wouldn't be able to destroy all the nukes. So what happened is an underground nuke would come out, bomb Japan, bomb South Korea, whatever, right? And then they'd come to the U.S. and say, hey, you fucking better stop or we're going to drop another nuke. And then we're in a really shitty spot. The U.S. is a really shitty spot. So right now is so dangerous. And they can hit L.A., North Korea, and I don't know. It's just, it can also hit Chicago. But just getting a bit off topic, but that is tying into the reason why the government's really, China tried, but didn't really do much. And now it's hurting them because Japan is just making all of this money. Are you kidding me? Japan's just absolutely killing it. And Japan's like, and China's hurting. And China's like, oh, fuck, what are we going to do? So there's a lot of panic there. And plus, they have North Korea right there to have to deal with. So it's just a lot going on right now. And the Bitcoin could easily just slide on in, and then it's done. It's like a dagger into the middle of all of it. They can't stop it. That's what people don't. They're overestimating the governments and underestimating Bitcoin. It's very easy to think that the guys on top are always going to be on top because of the stranglehold they have. But the stranglehold can easily turn to sand and go right through their fingers, and they're like, what's happening? I can't control this anymore like I used to. And it's hard to control billions and billions of human beings that have free will and wanna have freedom and want to do what they want to do. It's not easy to control billions and billions of people, right? We have more people than we've ever had in history by a long shot. We have more technology than we've ever had by a long shot. We've had more conflict weighing down governments than we've ever had by a long shot. And it's just, the time is here. The time is now. Now we just need the best and the brightest to keep stepping up and pioneering this decentralized peer-to-peer movement. And man, the sky's really the limit for Bitcoin. It's funny because, of course, like I said, the alts, this isn't, I'm going to end it here with this. This is different than last time. And the fact that Bitcoin was tanking because of the fear that the fork would fuck up. Right? The difference here now, and there's also another contingency, is now with more and more 2x hate, SegWit 2x hate, everyone's hating on it. A lot of people are condemning it. A lot of people are condemning Bitcoin Gold. A lot of people are outlashing at them. Important Bitcoin members of the community. And the Bitcoin price is rising. So this is different than the last port. It's completely different. We're having the same effect with the alts hurting. However, this is different from the fact that I don't think a lot of people are expecting Bitcoin Gold and SegWit 2x to be worth a lot of money. I think those are going to get dumped a lot harder than Bitcoin Cash was. And with that aspect, I don't know. I'm just trying to think that maybe that altcoin bloodbath might end earlier, because once this price, and the price is already peaking, this is what happens. When the price peaks like this, and Bitcoin, the alts go down, but then the Bitcoin price can only peak so high. It usually runs up, and usually will double or go up about 50%, right? So we can easily see 6,000 Bitcoin, and then it'll kind of stagnate. But that's the thing, when, like I said, like if you want to look like an ass, tell people your crypto predictions. Like, it's very, very difficult to know where this thing's gonna stop, because this thing could rise to 10,000 really easy. Doesn't take a lot. Really doesn't take a lot. It takes one person could make this thing $10,000. One billionaire that wants to come in. Don't even have to be a billionaire, really. So I mean, just there's a really good chance. So this is just me keeping my my pulse. I'm just keeping my fucking finger on the pulse of this market. Really looking for opportunities. I'm not really playing the Batman head game as hard right now. I had a swing with Chainlink, and I had a swing with Neo, but seeing how this is starting to unfold, every single day I wake up, I do my research, more and more Segway 2x hate, more and more Bitcoin and gold hate. Bitcoin price is already starting to rocket. It's only the 12th. We have a long time. I'm starting to see that there might be a lull in this altcoin bloodbath. So definitely keep an eye on that. And also on the last point, right now is the very beginning of these coins. If we want to go back to the middle of what I was saying, when we're talking about use case, because all of this is speculative mostly. But when the blockchain becomes 100, like ingrained in life, you're going to start to see these coins really, really fill out. You're going to start to see the use case where the actual people are going to be driving the price up, because right now it doesn't matter what it is, from entertainment coins to accounting coins to anything. It really, it's going to be kind of like a dam, because what's going to happen is everyone's going to kind of learn blockchain. Once you know it, you understand it. You're like, okay, I understand the use case now. And then once people learn how to use Bitcoin, boom, you know how to buy other coins. Businesses are going to start, once the businesses really start getting in there, people are going to start seeing it left and right. And then before you know it, they're going to be more comfortable buying crypto, right? They're going to be more comfortable buying any kind of cryptocurrencies and be like, okay, well, I want to use your platform, right? I want to use this platform and I know how to use my coins. So I would say in the next 1 to 5 years, the coins that survive, that are really hustling and bustling, and a lot more coins are going to survive than the internet boom, than people realize. A lot more fucking coins are going to survive. People don't understand that this is a tokenized world. This isn't the internet. The internet is kind of like, there was a lot of failed booms because people overpay because of the FOMO, yada, yada. But every website, it's kind of like, okay, what happened? Every business has a website, don't they? Pretty much, right? Well, before the internet, that didn't happen. And then when the internet first came out, it was new and not everybody had their website. Now everybody has a website. It's going to be the same thing, right? So in a way, the internet did succeed, because in that way, when you're talking about the big .com failure. Well, not really, because every website right now has a thing. You just have to pick the businesses that survive. You can't pick shit businesses, because there's going to be a lot of them. But a lot of these coins are going to survive for the simple fact that they have a product. People are going to want to use it. And in order to use it, you need that token. So it's kind of like websites for different businesses. Yeah, a lot of these are going to be replaced. A lot of these are going to be a lot of competition, but a lot of them are not. Especially the really good ones that have a really solid team that are actually putting in the work. A lot of these are going to fail just because A, lazy, B, scams, or they had too big a vision, right? But the ones that are just doing the meat and potatoes, just really saying, okay, well, we have a badass use case. It's way better than fiat. We're going to get a lot of clients because of this. Boom. And any kind of cryptocurrency, it doesn't matter how trivial it is, has absolutely huge potential to become billions and billions of dollars. But yeah, I'm going to kill it there. Cheers. Peace.